Hey, Judy. How's it going?
Hanging
I
in.
can't hear you for some reason. Wait a minute. Say something, Judy.
Go.
How you doing?
Oh, good, good. I can hear you now. I don't know what was going on before.
Good.
Say hi to Miss Kathleen.
Hey, buddy.
You can't see him.
remember me?
Mr.
Judy,
Whiteley's not here.
pick him up. He's eating me out of a house at home.
I know. That's all I do is buy food. That's all I do now. Oh, look. You got so big. Hi, Miss Henderson.
Hi.
Hey, Giselle.
Hi. Good.
All right, here we go. Mr. Santo coming on.
Sweet. Mr.
I know him, he's got so big. And they
Right? He's gigantic.
He's trying.
He really is. We can't pick him up anymore. Right, Jill?
Oh, you sweetie Petey.
Oh, good.
Go watch your tablet.
Hi, teacher.
I gotta work, Jill. I gotta work. I can't write what you said. Okay.
Yeah, so we have Miss Henderson, Mr. Santos trying to get in.
You gotta go, baby. We're gonna turn on. I gotta open the door.
Hey,
Humble.
there's Abby.
I'm saying that.
Hey, we have Miss Williams coming in now.
Excuse me.
Abby, can you hear me, Abby? I can't hear you.
Hi.
Hi, I muted you. Okay.
Stop.
Every day's the same, everybody, right?
Yes, it's a big blur. I was like, why is everyone saying it's May 1st? I had was looking at August. I was like, it's only April 28th. It's not May 1st yet.
What do you
No.
team please? Aaron, can you get me a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper? Look at there in the cabinet.
He still didn't load yet. Yeah.
So you log into the right place.
Hi, Melanie.
Hey, Mel.
Wondering some water.
You can't hear us. Melanie.
She's connecting. It's so good to see all you guys. Oh my gosh.
Right? Oh my goodness.
How is everybody doing? Are you guys good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Making the best out of it. All I do is
Hi,
cook.
Mel.
cook.
Hi.
Hi, Mel.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Giovanni.
She's set up quite the school homeschooling, right, Melanie?
Just a
What do you want to
fancy.
see? Uh-huh. I don't know. What do you want to watch? Sorry, guys.
You're fine.
The sheep. Okay. Stop it.
I know, like I haven't worn regular clothes for such a long time. I either have like sweatpants on or those, those exercise pants.
Yep, I have the same load that I'm doing. I was like, I really have cut back on laundry because I do the same load every week of the same old yoga pants.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I'm gonna order some more on Amazon.
You guys supposed to have a jersey?
Can you get me my bottle of water? And can you drink water too?
I already drink from your bottle.
You did?
Well, I'm on my meeting. Stop.
I think Catherine is having a little difficulty getting in here with the auto.
See?
Thank you. Okay. Are you sure you log into Mr. Whiteley?
Hello, good morning.
Leave it and reconnect.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
How are you doing?
Good to see you. I'm hanging in there.
That's awesome.
How about yourself?
I'm good.
That's good. Good to hear.
Yes. It was nice to pop into your class the other day. That was. I think it's funny that they could still figure out a way to interrupt things.
Oh, can I tell you?
Oh, that's funny.
Somebody was doodling on the screen. I don't
On the screen. Yeah.
You're like, really? Really?
Yes.
Oh goodness.
Here comes Alicia.
Hi, Alicia. Oh, she's connecting to audio.
Hey guys,
Hey, how you doing?
how are you?
I'm all right. We're hanging in.
Your little shelf with it. So cute.
What?
I said I liked your little shelf behind.
Sure.
you.
Oh, thank you, my dad made those. I'm in the
nice.
kitchen because my husband's in the office.
Oh gosh, pretty cups. I like those cups.
Thank you. They're Polish pottery. My mom's from Poland.
Oh wow.
Ooh. Get your computer and come. Oh, give me a minute.
Catherine's coming in now.
I'm here.
Hi.
Oh, I understand you already in the meantime.
Yeah, we can't see you though, Catherine.
Yeah, I'll turn my camera on soon.
Okay. Just as long as I don't have to do anything on this end.
Nope.
All right, so here comes Miss Brown, Miss Rodriguez, and Miss McPherson.
Hello, Veronica. Hello, Mari.
Good morning, all.
Hi, Miss Brown.
Morning.
Good to see you.
See you
Miss Pearson. How's it going? Just another day, huh?
It's an allergy icky day.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is. All right, let's go.
Sweet. So, Mrs. Santo, we'll give it another 5 minutes or another couple minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least it's nice weather out.
Really nice.
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
We have a different.
Absolutely gorgeous.
different
But I'm afraid to go out because this happens.
Oh gosh.
Right. So what happens when I go out, because I've been quarantined so long, my body goes in overdrive. Like I have bad allergies, but it's like 10 times worse because I've been in the four walls for so long. So as soon as I go out, I'm like, can I breathe? Like what's going on?
Okay, so we have Jody and Yari coming in. Oh. All right. I'm gonna unmute you all here.
I don't feel ready to get nothing to eat yet.
All right, can everybody hear us and see us? Okay. Hendrix. Hendrix is coming in now.
Hendrix is here.
I just submitted her.
Isn't she?
No,
Oh, I thought she was.
She's coming in now.
Weirdly enough, I too went on a trip that I lied. It's not about my group stuff.
Abby?
Yes?
Oh,
Should we get started?
I don't see you anymore. There's so many.
Oh. I was just pulling up this screen share.
And I'll keep an eye on the participants.
Okay. Maybe we'll give a couple more minutes. I know Miss Firon was supposed to be here too.
Got Maxine, she's coming in. I have invited Miss Campbell because she doesn't have an instructional assistant. So.
Okay. And yeah, she might need a little extra support with the steps.
Yeah.
If you ever train her. So we have all second grade. We're using
Who are we waiting for now? We have
Miss Burrows. I haven't heard from her at all.
Oh, Cynthia. Cynthia, okay.
And then Miss Artajik, is he here?
I'm gonna check that.
And,
Not here yet. So.
all right. I think we have everyone else. So right. Okay. So just keep an eye for that. We'll get started. All right.
Absolutely. I just want to let you know that this is being recorded. So.
So a lot of you, I probably have already looked into what we're talking about today, and hopefully you get to see the webinar that we directed you to. Read Naturally Live is an online version of Read Naturally. So it takes kids through all of the steps that they would, but it's through the computer. It was not originally designed for remote learning, but we're going to take you through the steps and how to do that remotely. So it has all the same components. It can be used anywhere. Students have internet access, and then as students go through, they can go through each of the steps independently, and they'll need a teacher for some of the parts. There is another webinar, and we're going to send you this PowerPoint after we're done. It's using Read Live in a distance learning model. We took a lot of our slides from that specific webinar, but if you want more information or if you need a refresher, you can.
Definitely doing very good. I wish he could show you.
Go back.
Those Zoom meetings. So once
I'm going to be muting. I'm going to be muting all. I hear a lot of background noise. Do you, Abby?
Yes, I do too. Yes. So
Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Current and new participants. Okay. Except for Miss Pearson. Miss Colette. Okay. Oh, wait. And Mrs. Santo, unmute.
Okay.
And hold on, let's just get Colette.
She's not muted. Hello, Colette. All right, so the Read Live distance learning model is students are set up on Read Live, which Ms. Keklik and I have already done. We've set up all the students, and they just will work through the steps of the program, the hot and the cold timings, and then there'll be reports that you can review and determine the students' progress and adjust their levels. So Ms. Keklik, do you want to?
Absolutely. So how will MBFA utilize Read Naturally remotely? Well, students who work on Read Naturally in the classroom will be set up to work on Read Live from home. Now, all students were placed at the same level they left off in the classroom. And students will meet with instructional assistants 2 times weekly, Mondays and Thursdays, to help facilitate timings and passing activities. This will take some practice, so we're just suggesting the instructional assistant work with one student at a time to practice this. And note that the goal is that eventually the goal is small group, but we'll provide a separate training on this.
All right. So one of the features that we're going to need to become experts at is the screen sharing and remote control tools. The students are going to have to screen share, and you're going to have to request remote control of their computer in order for this to function. So we're going to go through all the steps, and we'll point out when the screen sharing and remote control tool is beneficial. So the remote control feature allows you to take control of another screen at a meeting, and you can either request remote control of another participant, or other participants can give control to you. So, and again, this is only needed for the hot and cold timing and the past activities. So just take a second, if you look at your computer, at the top of the screen, if you put your cursor at the top of the screen, there's gonna be a drop-down menu, and you can see where it says you can request remote control. Can everyone, if you can't see that, you can just
thumbs up if you can see that.
Yes, where you can request remote control.
Hello, ladies.
Yes, hello.
I'm gonna go on mute. I heard you saying hello when I first came on, but I was on the phone in another meeting. So I just want to chime in and say I'm here, I'm present now, but I'm going on mute. And I'm not ready for anyone to view me this morning, so.
All right, so if anyone has issues with finding that, we can walk you through that. But yes, Amari, you can turn yourself off mute. Do you have a question?
I can't see it.
Okay, so if you move your cursor to the top of the screen, there should be like a drop-down menu. Do you see that?
View options?
Yes.
Yes, and then
that's it.
Yes, go on to view. I might have a different screen because but if you go up there, it will say view options. You click down that and you can request control of the screen that you're viewing. So you could probably request control of my screen from your.
No, mine is blacked out.
Okay, well, maybe we can play around with that later.
No love, man. I got no love.
Is anyone else having trouble finding it, or is it?
No, but can I ask a question? Did you join with the app or on the web?
With the app.
You did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It should work.
So it won't work on an iPad or an iPhone. Are you on an iPad or iPhone?
No, it's my computer.
Okay. All right. Well, we can walk with you.
We'll look into that. I'll write that down.
So it should look like this right here. So it says view options.
Okay.
It says request remote control.
And can I ask a question, or do you want me to wait till the end?
You can ask a question. Go ahead.
So am I the one, or are we the one initiating the Zoom meeting, or is the student then, if we're requesting control of their screen? Am I initiating it and then they can show me their screen and I request controls?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you would initiate the Zoom meeting, and you can request control of their screen.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question.
All right, so the Zoom step. Do you want to take over?
All right, so start Zoom session with your student. Agree on a method for student to indicate that they are ready for timing or that they need assistance. You ask the student to share their screen. They may need to be shown how to do this. You're going to request control of student screen from view options, and Amari will take a look at that later and see why you
Yeah.
that. Then log in to teacher page by selecting conduct timing. When the timing or past activities are complete, you're going to relinquish control over to the student. And this sounds really jumbled and really tricky, but we're going to show you a video of how this is going to work, and it will all make more sense.
This slide just shows we have a link, and again, we're going to send this slide to you. It takes you to a bunch of resources. So if you're struggling with how to use Zoom videos, there's tutorials, there's training sessions, there's a whole bunch of links that can help if you're stuck on any of these steps. We're also, Ms. Keklik and I are also available to help you if you're stuck on any of these. All right. So some Zoom tips before you start, just review and adjust settings and make sure you have the screen sharing setting and remote access setting. Before sharing the screen, you make sure you turn the share computer sound on so they can hear, so you can hear the recordings or whatever's being played. And then you're gonna record your session for review. All right, so before we continue, we wanted to make sure that you guys could see what this looks like. What does the program look like, and when would you actually be popping in? When would you be using the screen share option?
This is a really good video to watch because it pulls together all the pieces, and it makes everything make sense. So go ahead, Ab.
All right.
Let's watch a student, Melissa, work through the steps of Read Naturally Live. Melissa logs in by going to the Read Live homepage and clicking Student. Then she enters her account number, user ID, and password and clicks Log In. Please select a story. Melissa's screen displays 12 stories, and she can choose to work on any that she hasn't already passed. She clicks on the story she wants to read. Tricky Tale. Are you ready to start this story? The key word step teaches students key vocabulary words that are important to the story. Melissa clicks each key word to learn the words and their definitions.
Appendage. An appendage is a body part that is connected to the main body or head of an animal. A finger is an appendage. So is a fin, a tail, a tentacle, or an antenna.
Notice the progress bar at the top of the screen. The progress bar shows where students are in the steps. The software highlights Melissa's current step, key words. To move on, students click Next. But notice the Next button can't be clicked until all the requirements for the page have been met. For this step, Melissa needs to read along with all the key words before she can continue. In the prediction step, students predict what the story will be about. This activity prepares their minds for reading by requiring them to briefly think about the topic. Melissa can't move on until she types her prediction. Once she starts typing, the Next button becomes enabled. This step is timed. By default, students have 2 minutes to complete their predictions once they start typing. Teachers can change this time limit if needed. Once Melissa finishes typing her prediction, she clicks Next. The red header and footer indicate that the teacher is required for the student to continue. While waiting for her teacher, Melissa practices vocabulary appropriate for her reading level using the Wordtastic activity. She clicks the best answer for each item and accumulates points for each correct answer. When the teacher is available, he clicks Conduct Cold Timing and enters.
Right, so this right here is when, before you could do this, the student would have to give you remote access to their computer. So this is where you would click that button that says Conduct Cold Timing, and it will prompt you to put your username and password here. I just want to give you a quick tip. When you start typing your username and password, sometimes it will ask to if it should remember your password. Say no, because it will be saved on the kid's computer. So make sure that you say no to that. So you type your username and password, and then it just like if it was in the classroom, you would just be doing this on the computer that they're at. But it's the same. You're just doing it remotely. So.
Once the teacher logs in, notice the header and footer change to indicate the teacher is present. The teacher should remain with the student until the footer no longer says teacher present. In the cold timing step, the software times the student for 1 minute as she reads the story for the first time.
So Abby, can you stop it for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah, so I just want you to notice there's a reading guide on the side. And if it's on, what it does is it highlights the sentence for the kids, which is a really good option. So just so you know that. So it highlights it when they're reading. They're not everything's all jumbled. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ab.
Measuring improvement.
Click Start Timing and begin reading. Click on the words you don't know to hear them read to you. Click Finished if you finish reading before the bell sounds.
In this and the upcoming practice and past steps, a reading guide is available to help students' eyes track words across the screen. Melissa can choose to turn off the reading guide by clicking the switch. Clicking again turns the reading guide back on. Melissa clicks Start Timing and then reads the story aloud as her teacher listens. You can tell that a timing is in progress because a watch icon appears.
Birds of prey circle above, and snakes slither through the grass and leaves on the scrub. These and other predators.
Notice that Melissa moves the reading guide to highlight each line as she reads. Melissa clicks on any words that she has difficulty reading to hear them pronounced.
Threats.
These words are deducted from her score as errors. Melissa's teacher coaches her through this cold timing by helping her identify her errors. When he determines she can self-time, she can complete cold timings independently. If a student reaches the end of the story.
So that is another thing that we're going to look into in the future. So as we pilot and get started with this program, we're going to have you do the cold timings and the hot timings. But if you can start seeing the students are successfully completing cold timings on their own, then you could just even skip the cold timing step. We can set that differently on the online. We can change it so they can do the cold timing on their own.
So the teacher is more the IA is more a facilitator, coaching.
But right now, to start, we're going to have you present for the cold timings.
Yeah.
Story before the timer sounds, he or she clicks a finished button that appears on the last page of the story. This is more likely to happen when students are reading in the lowest levels where the stories are shorter.
A fully grown western skink measures approximately 7 inches.
Click on the last word you read when the bell sounded.
Melissa clicks on her last word read. After the timing, Melissa clicks Next to move on. Notice the teacher present label is gone. The teacher can now leave, allowing the student to work independently. The bar graph shows the number of words Melissa read correctly during her cold timing, as well as the reading rate goal she must meet to pass the story. Melissa clicks Next to continue. Melissa has completed the keywords, prediction, and cold timing steps. Those steps prepare her to work in the story she selected. Now, she'll work towards mastering the story, beginning with the read-along step. Read-along is the teacher modeling step. Students read aloud quietly with a recording of the story. This step helps students learn unknown words and practice difficult words. The modeling also encourages
So we're going to stop right there. So
pronunciation.
Sorry about that. So as a student, it walks them through all of the steps that you already know, the 10 steps. So they'll have to practice reading at least 3 times. It will not let them move forward if they do not do those 3 readings. We're going to go back to our PowerPoint and we can come back to that video.
And Ms. Hendricks, so you mentioned that you already watched this video, and that's awesome.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
So, the username and password and credentials are the same for everybody. So the account ID is the same for everybody, even for you. So whatever the account ID that was emailed to you. And then the username is their first name and their last name. Just if you go through your class list, just make sure that we did all the spelling correctly. And we came across some errors, and I'm sure there are more. So just look closely and make sure that we didn't make any more errors. And then password is read for all of the students.
Okay. So student will first select a story. So on the select a story page, students choose the next story to read, which gives them sense of control, just like when they were doing it with the hard copy. The student starts the program. On the select a story page, the student clicks the story he or she would like to read. And the way we did the placement, they're most likely going to be doing stories again. And that's good practice. That would be fine. So in the confirmation window, the student clicks yes to open the story. Students automatically advance to the next story step once they confirm the selection.
Just like in the video, we saw that they were listening to the vocabulary. They have to listen to all of the words and definitions before they can click next. And so they read along, just as they would with the CD player. It's just everything is there in front of them.
It's so much easier too, I think.
I feel like it really is. There's very little room for error for the students.
So the student will complete the prediction step. So the prediction step teaches students to prepare their minds for new information and reminds them that they are reading for meaning. Just like in the hard copy, on the prediction page, the student looks at the story title, the picture, and the keywords for clues. The student can click back to review those keyword definitions in the previous step. So in the text box, the student types the prediction of what the story would be about. This is a little different than the hard copy because the prediction step online has a time limit. And I believe you could change that time limit in story options, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. The timer begins when the student begins typing in the text box. When the students have finished, the prediction or the time expires, the student clicks next. And I think it's 5 minutes they get.
So I saw Ms. Hendricks had a question just about logging in. So they'll just use the link. There is no link on the computers. I don't think that was set up. Ms. Habansky can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that there was a link placed on the desktop. So they'll just go straight to that link. On the, I'll just show you, hold on. Oops. Right here, the readnaturally.com. So we already watched how the cold timing is conducted. So that's where you're involved. You're going to have the student logs in and shares the screen with you, and then the teacher requests remote access to conduct the cold timing. As you saw in the video, the student clicks on the cold timing. It sets a minute timer, and as they're reading, they're going to click on words they don't know or skip. And if you notice the student's not doing that, that's where you can chime in and you can actually click, because you have remote control, you can click on words and address it after they're finished. When the bell rings, the student will click the last word, or they'll click finished if they completed that whole story, which is very rare, especially with the longer passages.
Right.
And then the computer automatically graphs for them. So that's a easy step for them.
So retesting, retesting a cold timing. So if a student was interrupted during the cold timing, you can immediately retest the student. You can select this option only while you're on the cold timing or cold timing graph step. So you got to be careful about that. To retest the student's cold timing from the cold timing or cold timing graph page, click Teacher. If prompted to log in, enter your user ID and password and click Login. Click Retest Timing. Click Yes, retest the student to confirm. The student's previous cold timing score is cleared and you return to the cold timing screen for this story. Now this is something I think you're going to have to experience. It's kind of tricky, when you're saying it, giving directions, but I think it's something you're going to have to play around with and experience.
So we already showed you about the reading guide. There's just an on and off button. So if they don't want to use that highlighter where it highlights each line, they can just turn that on or off. All right. And then you'll notice that there was the word-tastic while the student is waiting for the teacher. The teacher will, the student will get this word-tastic activity where they're just questions about vocabulary words. And that's just if they're waiting for you. They'll probably not spend a lot of time on the word-tastic because when you are in a Zoom session, they're not waiting for you because it's just one-on-one. But once we get this rolling and you get used to the program, we're going to show you how to do breakout rooms and classrooms so you could just get this done in one setting. But we're just going to start off one by one for now.
And this word-tastic you could also turn off. So this, again, in story options, you could turn this off, so you don't have to, they don't have to do it, but it's good.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to the video. Hold on. And I'm just gonna skip some of this stuff. It takes you through the practice, how they listen to the read along and then listen. They have to do it at least 3 times. They could do it as many times as they want. But then it gets to the end part when they're ready for their hot timing. They have to do, sorry about this. They have to do,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So they have to do the quiz questions. And so we're gonna skip to that point right here. And that's what they're doing.
Next, to move on to the quiz step.
Click the best answer and then click next.
In the quiz step, students answer several questions about the story. This step evaluates student comprehension of the story. The number and type of questions varies based on the student's level and series. The questions for most of the stories follow a specific pattern to help teachers identify what areas of comprehension, if any, are challenging for a student.
Please take out the trash.
For example, question 5 in Melissa's level always asks students to connect the information with their own ideas. Melissa answers the questions as they're displayed on the screen. Students can refer to the story for help. The software will correct most of Melissa's answers. Her teacher will evaluate the short answer questions during the pass step. Once Melissa has answered all of the questions, she clicks Next to move on to the retell step. This step helps students to comprehend, remember, and retell what they've read.
Retell or summarize the story in your own words. Click Review Story if you want to read the story again.
Melissa clicks Review Story to review the story first. When she's finished, Melissa closes the story to return to the retell screen. This step is timed. By default, students have 5 minutes to complete this step once they start typing. Teachers can change the time.
Okay.
Students can't move on until they've typed something in the box.
All right. So I just wanted to show them the next part where the teacher would
using the Read Naturally strategy, and now she's ready to try to pass.
Now you're ready to pass. Read the story and play Wordtastic until your teacher comes to pass you on this story.
And notice waiting for teacher at the bottom.
Oh, sorry.
While Melissa is waiting for the teacher to conduct the hot timing, she practices reading the story independently and plays the Wordtastic vocabulary game.
Click on the last word you read when the bell sounded.
All right, so this is when the teacher would log in again. So you click on Conduct Pass or Ask Request Control. Conduct the pass timing. Your teacher logs in and does it just as the cold timing. Once you get started, the first time you meet with your student, you'll be doing a cold timing, but each time after that, you'll start with a hot timing and then do a cold timing. So it'll just be one session. So, but we'll get into that. So each session you'll be doing starting with a hot timing and ending with a cold timing. So they're off to do the next passage. Should we listen to more, Ms. Keklik, or do you?
No, I think that.
Okay.
From what I see.
Okay. All right. So you will be prompted to correct the quiz. So you're going to go, as you go through that, you'll see all their answers. The multiple choice answers will be answered for you, and you'll see their short answers. So you can either say that they gave you the correct answer, or if not. If they didn't, you can select the prompt that they have to go back and fix it.
I'm just writing down some of these questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
You can also assign students specific stories if you'd like, right? That's the story options. So on the story options, when you log in under the staff, you can navigate through and select what you've changed those settings. So Ms. Keklik, would you want to explain this?
Yeah, I'm just writing the questions down. You can change the this, you know, the, like for Wordtastic, if you don't want to have that, you could take that out. Also, in story options, for the retail, if you have somebody, a student that might have trouble writing that retail, you can take that option out as well. So on the next slide, I believe I have there's a table that you can go to, and it will tell you all the different options that you have that you can manipulate.
I can just click to that link and show you what it is. So these are all the things that you can turn off and on: the keyword prediction, cold timings, the read along, and you can base it on how you think, what you think the student needs or what the student doesn't need.
Yeah.
But we're just going to start where everyone has the same settings, and if you start having questions or if you notice that some steps are holding up some students, then we can certainly go back and edit the settings together.
Oh, no link provided. Okay. So how do...
Yeah, and we just watched a video of how it was, again, the hot timing was done. But again, this is where you would also need remote access to the child's computer. You click on you can conduct a hot timing. The student clicks start timing, and then they mark their errors, and then if they fall within those guidelines, the fluency, remember the fluency, where you score their fluency, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you look at their comprehension questions. So this would be the pass activity. So we go through all of that checklist of things that they need to do in order to pass the hot timing.
So we have a few questions, Mrs. Santo. I don't know maybe we should take a few now?
Sure.
Okay, so I think Alicia had a concern. 14 kids, one by one, might be a little bit overwhelming for her. And you're absolutely
14 kids, Miss Kai. I forgot that you have that.
Wow, we only thought there was 10 max.
Yeah. Does anyone else have that many kids? Because I thought.
Yes, I have the same number of kids.
On
14.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's gonna take a lot of time. And then I feel like if they could maybe all log on and we could teach them, maybe even with that video or something. Exactly. And then I don't know how to do the breakout where they can only hear me, but I feel like that would be very helpful to have like 5 of them.
Right. Well, we will have another PD, you know, describing how to do the breakout. We thought it might be easier just to do one by one, but in your case with 14 students, I think it would be nice to have a Zoom on training with the training video.
Maybe we can consider just doing like 5 students a day, twice a week. You know what I mean? Or something like 6 or 7 students. Half your students on Monday, Thursday, and the other half on Tuesday, Friday.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I just wasn't sure if we were only supposed to do those days or something.
I am sure in your case, we could probably be more flexible.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that those are just suggested days and the suggested time frame, and we can work with you to make sure it works for the kids and for you and your families.
Okay.
Ladies, can I chime in?
Yes.
I say yes. I agree with the idea of the flexibility for not just it will work for not just teachers, but as well as families. Ideally, Monday and Thursday are great days for this. However, teacher, you have flexibility. The goal is to meet with them twice a week. And so if you have a caseload that's a little bit larger, such as 15, you can spread those, you can divide those kids up across the week, as long as you're meeting with them 2 days a week.
And we can also help you, since you and it sounds like Ms. Robinson, we can help you separately to start off even with the breakout rooms. Maybe you could be our trial.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely. Now, another question is, where will the students get their logins? And Mrs. Santo, we sent those. We have those.
Yeah, and I'll share. We're going to have you forward a Read Live letter, and in that letter it will include their username and password.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else? How long do we have to spend?
So as long as the hot and cold timing takes, so a minute for the cold timing and then a minute for the hot timing, but it'll probably take a total of 5 minutes because they have to work through the beginning steps of a new passage.
And one more good question, and then we'll continue and save the rest. So when do we start? Ms. Brown wants to know when we start.
We're going to, as soon as we hang up, we're going to send you that letter and have you forward it to your families. And then we're going to start this week. All right.
And wait, one more. How long are we with each student?
Probably not more than between 5 and 10 minutes.
Right.
Not more than that. It probably will be less time once you get in the hang of it.
Yeah. All right. So correcting the retell. So I'm just going to move. I'm just trying to manipulate everybody's faces here. All right. So I can see the screen. Correcting the retell. So to correct a student's retell attempt. So on the past grade retell step, review the text the student used to retell the story. Indicate whether the retelling met your expectations. Click yes or unacceptable no. Your requirements will vary based on the student's age and ability. For example, you may require an older or more advanced student to write a summary with the main idea in supporting details. So you're flexible with that.
So right here are the options for past activities. So teacher uses the remote control, again, to conduct the task, which is the hot timing, and going throughout, you'll be prompted through those past activities. And again, this is the more skilled, and we're all still learning this Zoom thing, but for multiple users, you could use the breakout rooms. But again, we're going to do that separately, and we might start off with just a couple to try it out and make sure it's doable. All right. And then so we might have another problem. So I know we did that survey and some kids got Chromebooks. Some students are just using an iPad or and you can't get remote access to an iPad or Apple products. So the way around that is for you to log in as a student on your computer and share your screen. So that's really the only way around that, and that would be so if you come across a student that doesn't have a Chromebook because maybe they're using their iPad, this might be a way to this is the only way to get around that. So you log in under the student's username and password and share your screen, and they just read off of your screen.
Okay, so we had another quick question. Will we be sharing this PowerPoint? Absolutely, I'm recording it right now, so we'll share that with you.
Yes, and I'll share the document as well.
So set up schedule.
These are notes for us, sorry. So your next step would be, so when we send the letter, you're going to send the letter or reach out to family and reach out to families. And we want you to set up a schedule with your students. It can be again, we're flexible. We just want to make sure that you're seeing each kid at least twice a week. And then the first session that you conduct with the child can be a training, and Ms. Correa had a good idea of just doing maybe the first session with all of your students and walk them through the steps together.
Right, exactly. And then just take a few for training purposes as models, just like we did at school, right? Ms. Jacinto, we grabbed a few for model with us.
And then we'll also be sending you a feedback survey for our training. So are there any more questions or any concerns or things you're thinking about?
I think we got them, it's being recorded, so we'll send you a copy. Just looking at all the other questions. How long are we with each student?
We said about 5 to 10 minutes.
Just for the hot and cold timings. And Ms. Henderson, she said that she has about 11 kids as well.
Okay. So maybe this week we'll just start off just connecting with the kids and setting up a time, and we can look into setting up the breakout rooms in Zoom.
And one more question. We have a really good question from Ms. Henderson. Do we set up as teachers or assistants?
We set you up as teachers.
Yeah, you're already set up. You don't have to do anything.
Right. I think I originally set you up as assistants, but then I changed that so you're classroom teachers. So if you looked before I did that, you might have only seen that you're an assistant, but I set you up as the lead classroom teacher.
And Ms. Sabansky, no link provided on the Chromebooks. Just so you know, we originally thought for Lexia too that there was going to be link provided, but there's no link that's going to be provided.
Mrs. Sabansky is on the call?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Mrs. Sabansky, we had spoken about that. Can you remind me why those links were not added to the Chromebooks? I know that's a Jeff issue, but I've been trying all weekend to remember what was Jeff's reasoning or rationale for not adding the links, because I specifically asked that happen. Do you know why? And, thank you, because I'm not reading the comments. I'm multitasking. Go ahead.
So I guess the short answer is efficiency. We had to purchase Google G Suite in order to send out a desktop app to all the computers.
Thank you. Yep.
So that's as much as I know.
Yeah, thank you. I just couldn't remember. I was trying to wrap my mind around why is it that they're not there? And I do recall that now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And, you know, hopefully students and parents can save it as a favorite and save the password, and then it becomes easier to use every week.
So if there are any other questions, then we are.
I think Ms. Henderson had a question, but I can't seem to pull it up. Ms. Henderson, can you ask the question? Oh,
you can turn your mute off if you want.
Yeah. All right, let's see if I can do it for her. Unmute. I can't do it for her.
All right.
Okay, so my question is the retail answer when the kids have to type it in. I have two kids that I guess their spelling and their speed.
Yes, I
not
know.
going to allow them. I looked at the video already. I did not see, or maybe I missed it. But I did look before. And I just want to know if there's a speech option that they can speak into.
Maybe in story options, Ms. Henderson. I could check that out for you.
In what?
In story options.
Story, okay.
Options, and I can do that. I'll go in and look and see if there's a option for that.
Maybe you could
the names of the students. So we know.
Maybe you could request control of their screen and they could tell you and you could type it.
Oh, that's
for them.
That's a pretty good answer, yeah.
Yes.
And, you know,
I don't think the teacher is present during that time. I think they should have that complete when by the Zoom meeting.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought they were going through those steps and then doing a call timing. Okay.
All right, I'm going to look into that, Ms. Anderson. I'm going to be in touch with you.
Okay. Also, as part of the video, it said we should ask parents to record students. I think all of my kids know how to record themselves, but I didn't understand what they meant by that when I was going through the video. So I don't know if it's something I'm missing or if it's just the same thing for kids that are unable to record themselves, to have their parents assist them, or if it had to do with something else.
Maybe if the teacher is not present, if they're doing the cold timings on their own.
Yeah, so I think that the video did talk about parents being acting as the assistant, but we're not going to have that piece because I feel like we're asking parents a lot already, so we didn't want to add that other piece in.
Okay. Okay, and also with the email that we are sending to the parents, is it going to have the website, the readlive.readnaturally.com on that, or do we have to provide it to them, or it will be provided in the letter so they will know where to log in?
Right. Yeah, it should have that on the letter. But I'm thinking that maybe we can, Miss Colette.
Go ahead, Judith.
Should we write that letter for the IAs, or It's like a generic letter that they can use to send out to parents?
The letter should come from the reading specialist.
Okay, that's what, we'll handle it.
Yes.
Okay, so that will be on there.
Okay.
Okay.
So once the letter goes out to let the the parents know that this intervention is providing, it will need to have a start date. And in there, you should also let the parents know that the instructional assistants will be in contact with them.
Okay.
To communicate their specific schedule and to kind of give an overview of how the sessions will run.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question before the letter. I know you told us the days preferably would be Tuesday and Thursday, but for some of the IAs that have larger groups, like 11 to 15 students, are you still going to put that on the letter so the parents will expect it to be every Tuesdays and Thursday? Or
we just put on there that we should expect 2 days a week, and you'll arrange that with the IAs, the schedule of when we really,
additional.
Yes, so you can work it with the parents to see what works best for you.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. I'm not sure if I missed it or if I was writing at the time. So during the video, it said conduct past activity. What is past activities, or is that necessary?
Past activity is just they have to read within. They have to hit their goal for reading. They have to read it with less than three or less errors. They need to answer the comprehension questions. I think it's with 100% accuracy, right? And then their fluency needs to be on that range of the level 1, 2, 3, or 4. That rubric that you've been using. And then, is there anything else that I'm forgetting? Their retail.
Abby, do we have this captured somewhere in writing for IAs to reference?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those were all of the guidelines. The past activity is all the guidelines that they would have needed to pass when we were at school too.
Okay, again, so do we have that somewhere captured in writing?
I can forward that to them.
Okay, that would be helpful, I think.
Yeah, because it's just a reminder.
Yes, exactly.
The program really already does that for you. If they only got 9 out of 10, then you'll be directed to send them back to do the comprehension questions again, or the incorrect questions again.
Okay.
I have one question.
So Judith and Abby, you're going to send those reminders out to the IA? I think it's good. Yeah, it's a good visual reminder that they can have right on hand.
The guidelines, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Hendricks.
So when the students don't do the hot time and they don't pass it the first or second or third time, are we adjusting their level, or how many times are we allowing them to redo the retail?
They're at the same level they left off at school, so we're hoping not to run into that issue. But if we are, then we can definitely go back.
Yeah, Miss Hendricks, we put the current level that they were working on at school. So, and they might be, doing the same story again, but that's great. That's not a problem.
Yes, if you have any questions about any specific kids, please just email us and we can help you go through the settings and make sure that we're here for you.
Anytime. And we'll send those, we'll get that letter written up and send it to you.
Right.
To the parents.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions? All right. Well, thank you.
So
you
good
guys. It was so nice to see you all.
Ladies, stay on.
Miss Hendricks, I'm sorry. Miss Hendricks had a question. Do parents have to be present?
We answered that, I believe. No.
The parents' presence is not necessary. I mean, unless there's other.
Yeah.
You're going to be arranging the Zoom meetings through the parents, so they'll know that they're meeting with the child. And
If they feel the need to be present, absolutely. But
Okay.
all right. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
I got